Did you at times get really nervous thinking about the future when you had still not given up your religion or culture? Did you feel that the lesser freedom or the obligations were better than being lonely all life long? Did you imagine at times what would happen if the people that stayed with you after knowing what you believed start leaving you as well for different reasons? I have these thoughts a lot. I don't want to die alone. Now that was a very dramatic reading of a couple of questions that someone sent me, and I would like to address them because, as some of you might know, I am currently sort of gaining some material to start an ex-Muslim's life hacks video, and I was gonna add this to that, but I also feel like this deserves its own video because it's a really big topic, it's a really sensitive topic, and I don't want to diminish it by putting it alongside a lot of other things. Now, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I have a lot of things to say, so I'll say those things at the end. I'm just giving myself that time so you guys can click away at that point. So first of all, yes, of course I had these thoughts. I had these thoughts continuously while I was doubting my place as a Muslim. And all the different things that were happening around me, from trying to get me married to trying to get me to pray more and be more religious, to just getting me more involved with my toxic family. But yeah, I used to think of that a lot. Like, I used to weigh my own freedoms to the obligations that I had with my family, and I used to do that constantly, continuously, every single night, every single day. Every single prayer I made to the God I no longer believe in, it was, should I choose my family or do I leave? Like, should I, sacrifice myself, which is a little dramatic, but still, should I sacrifice myself for the benefit of retaining my family? Because I don't want to leave my family. My family love me, I love my family. Should I leave my family? And of course, Papa in the sky never responded, but it was something that troubled me constantly, because I knew how my family were going to react to me leaving religion, leaving my home, finding my own place, meeting my own man, basically just stepping a toe out of what they wanted me to do. I knew how my family were going to react to that, and it wasn't going to be positive. I have other family members who are male who have stepped out of line, been accepted back, stepped out of line, been accepted back, and that's fine. But I'm a girl, so I don't have that privilege of just sort of skipping between the lines. I have to stay in or I'm out forever. And I used to debate that a lot in my own head. I used to cry, I used to argue with myself. Have you ever done that? Like, argue verbally out loud, but you're not arguing with anyone else, you're just arguing with yourself, and you're just like verbally weighing the pros and cons. That's what I used to do in terms of this, because I really, really did not know what to do with my life. Should I just get married into another family, deal with all their fucking shit while all my family's fucking shit is still on the line? Like, that hasn't simmered down. Do I just go into another family, fuck that family up, and then, return? Like, what do I do? And it's a very pressing question, and I think it's a question that goes through the minds of a lot of people who not only leave Islam but leave religion, especially if you come from a very evangelical, very conservative, very, very religious community, religious family, whatever. I feel like it's a fear that you have. And the first thing that I would advise is that this is perfectly normal. It is perfectly normal for you to be feeling this way, especially if you've seen other people be removed from from your family because of what they did, or you've seen the reaction of your family to things like that. And the first thing that I would advise you do, if you don't know what the barometer is for get the fuck out of our family, then that's what we're calling it. If you don't know what the barometer is, just ask questions. covertly. Oh, I have this friend at school who's like has all these questions and their family doesn't like it. Like, what would you do, like, if you were her parent, or if you were her grandmother, or if you were her aunt? Like, how would you respond to that? Ask in like terms of how you would, you know, how your different family members who you live with or you respect or you fear losing, which is, I feel like, the more important thing, ask them how they would react to another person doing that. And they would, you know, I feel like in most cases, as long as you have a kind of bond and you talk to them normally almost every day, you'll be fine. And they'll give you as honest an answer as they can. So yeah, test the water. That would be the first thing to do. Secondly, if you have family members who you are, you know, deeply connected to, or you have friends who you deeply, deeply trust, tell them. See what happens. In terms of myself, and this is a suggestion, it's not an advice. Please do play everything by ear. Please be careful, don't be reckless. So something that I did before I left my family home was I confided in an aunt whom I was living with at the time. And she's a very liberal person, generally. She's very open-minded. And I just needed to tell someone, because I had been sort of building to tell someone for a really long time. And I just needed to tell someone that I don't believe this anymore. This is bullshit. I don't want to follow everything. I don't want to pretend like I'm, you know, a Muslim in front of people, but, you know, I'm not. Because even people who, you know, are not my family think I'm a Muslim, and I don't like that. I don't want to be a Muslim anymore. And she, you know, we talked, she gave me some, you know, suggestions of what I could do. One of those things was a marriage of convenience, which I personally would not advise, but we'll go into that in a different video anyways. But I confided in her, and it gave me a lot of relief just letting someone in my family know. Now, I understand that not all families have liberal members that you can just, you know, straight up talk to, and that's unfortunate, but it's the same with friends. My main support group were my friends, because I could tell them everything. You know, like, for example, my friends at work, people who I travel to work with, I would take my hijab off in front of them, and I would explain why I did that, and they would understand. Like, we know it's weird. It's weird. It's weird for you to be wearing something when you come out of the house, and then halfway through not to be wearing that thing anymore. Like, anytime I walked into a bar, I took my headscarf off. Because it's weird. It's weird to be walking into a bar, getting drinks with a headscarf on. It's weird. And I would explain to the people around me why I did that. Or if they just, you know, I feel like most people understood why I did that, because I would talk about my family a lot. And this is another thing that is, I'm not sure about other communities, but in the South Asian community, you're not meant to talk about your family problems with people. It's considered like disrespectful or mean to be talking about your family in other groups. So I kind of just walked out of that. I was like, you know what, this is too much shit to carry around. I'm just gonna tell people. And as long as you're honest and upfront with your friends who you trust and you love and you respect, you'll be fine. Talk to them. Now, I also understand that not everybody has friends that they can confide in. When I was growing up, I went to a Muslim school. You kind of had to be ultra-Muslim around them, especially when you had a reputation for being an ultra-Muslim, as I did. But yeah, I couldn't really confide in those people. But that's what I was going to go into. How to cope. So with your loneliness, there are a couple of things you can do to cope. If you live in a westernized country like I do, I'm from the UK, you can kind of just go outside and make friends. It takes a little practice. I used to be a very, very shy person, and I never used to like talking to people. But once you get the hang of it, it's very easy to just go outside and make some friends, and make lifelong friends as well. But for those of you who maybe don't live in a westernized country, or you do and you can't leave your home, for whatever reason, use the internet. The internet is a brilliant resource for finding people that are like-minded, and will understand your problems. One of the things that I did while I was stuck at home, because my dad would not let me leave the house, it was after I had finished sixth form / high school. I don't know who's watching this, but it was just before university. I never got to go to university until recently, after I left my home. So after I finished my high school education, my father kind of kept me at home. My mother had also passed away, so she wasn't there to sort of like vouch for me. I don't know how much of this wind you can hear, but it's really fucking annoying. But anyways, I could not leave my home. The farthest I could go was to drop the kids off to school, and that was like a 5-minute walk, and then I had to come back. That was the farthest I could go. Couldn't go to the park, couldn't go to the library, just had to kind of stick it out at home. So what I would do was I would really, really invest in my hobbies. So something I was really, sorry, I'm just getting really annoyed at this wind, and I can't record inside because Ed is studying. What I used to do was I used to write a lot. I used to write stories, I used to write poems, and I found an entire community of writers and poets online. And for those of you who've looked deeply into my description section, you'll find a couple of links to a site called Movellas, which was a writing site. I don't know what it's doing now. Last time I checked, it was spam riddled and just the worst. But yeah, I joined that writing site, and I still have friends from that community to this day. One of my best friends, my best friend, is from that community. He's seen me, go through all the troubles that I've been through. He's helped me through all those troubles, if not financially or physically, emotionally. So I would say join a community through a hobby. So if you're good at drawing, if you're good at writing, if you're good at drawing, join DeviantArt. There's a massive community there, and I made a couple of friends there too. Not ones that I could take away, but I made a couple of friends. I would, for friend making, I wouldn't advise like massive social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, just because there's a lot of weirdos on there. With writers and with artists, at least you can tell what they're doing there, So for art, I would recommend DeviantArt. For literature, for like writing and reading and reviewing and criticizing and stuff like that, I would advise Movellas if it's still a functioning website. I don't know how they're getting on. Or Wattpad. Wattpad's pretty good. There were a couple of others, but I've forgotten them. But yeah, just do a Google search for whatever hobby you have, whether that's like talking about religion, Twitter's a great platform for that, as we have seen. Talking about, philosophy, again, Twitter's a good, massive chat room for just sharing your ideas and making friends. You can join Reddit for different communities. I would say if you are in another country or you are stuck at home and you can't leave, you're just not allowed to make any real friends, find friends online. It will severely help with your loneliness. And this specific person who sent me the question, I've actually managed to buddy that user up with another one of my friends who is kind of going through a similar situation. So definitely look for friends online. Twitter's a good resource, I think. And if you have specific interests, look into sites that cater to those interests as well. And the last thing that I wanted to state was the reality of the situation. If you're in a situation, like my situation, where my entire family was toxic, my father was completely abusive, everyone around me was very, very manipulative, very, very demeaning, and very, very entitled, I guess. Please leave that situation as soon as humanly possible, because it's not healthy for you. And I'm not asking you to be reckless. If it is undoable, like you can't do it, and I couldn't do it for a very, very long time, if it's not doable, please don't put yourself at risk. Your safety is what comes first. But if you are in a severe circumstance where you are being beaten, emotionally abused, sexually abused, neglected, that needs to be reported. There's a statistic that says like only 1 in 8 children who are neglected get the help they need because it's not reported. It goes unreported, and there's no funding. So if you are in a very dire situation where you are in fear of your safety, or you are in fear of your health, or even your life, please do contact the the services. I'm not sure how it works in other countries, but in the UK, I can vouch for the police force. They've done, you know, all I can think about now is how to pay that back, because I can't. And honestly, there is no need to, because it's their job. But still, I am, you know, endlessly thankful for what has been done for me. But the reality of the situation is that if people who claim to love you aren't going to accept you because you believe something else, you literally just think differently to them, maybe they aren't worth loving, maybe. And I'm still recovering from that. Like, my dad just committed the worst thing he could against me, because he was the guy that I trusted and loved the most in this entire world. He was my best friend, and, you know, he really just showed me that he's not a great guy. And I'm still recovering from that. I still, from time to time, think, man, I miss that guy. You know, like, it's really difficult for me to overcome the fact that I hate him. Like, I genuinely, like, I've never been able to say that I hate a person as much as I hate my dad. But it's this weird, like, middle ground where I hate him, but I, like, have these residual pockets of love for him. And it's just like, it's really confusing. And that's what happens when you're in a family that bullies you so much, where you don't know your place with them. Like, you'll be friendly one day, and as soon as you put 1 inch out of line, you know, as soon as you walk a little out of line, you're dead to them. You are completely and utterly dead to them. Like, I have family members who, even before I left Islam, even before that, because I wouldn't marry the people that they wanted me to marry, they just stopped talking to me. They blanked me. They started making scenes in the middle of streets when they saw me. It's pathetic and childish, but it's also a cycle, and they're, you know, they're sort of geared that way, so that if someone steps out of line, that's how they react. That is their only method of reacting, and it's disgusting and hurtful, but they don't see it that way because they think that they're doing the best for you, and they just aren't. And something I told one of my family members who contacted me as soon as I left my family home was that if you love and respect me, you'll give me my space and you won't be begging for me to come back. Don't guilt me into coming back when I clearly need some time just on my own, just being alone and being away from people who are as toxic, who are so toxic that they literally want me to go back to an abusive home so that they can feel better, you know? That is the reality of the situation. It is not worth spending your life with people who ultimately don't really love you, because they won't let you be who you are. They just want you to pretend and keep a facade, and they want to insert themselves into your lives where frankly they're not welcome. And I might make a different video on this, because this one is, I'm getting to my 20-minute mark. It's really important for people to find surrogate family members, and that sounds like a very alien concept, and for a lot of people it might be, because your family members are your family members, right? But what if you just don't, they're not loving and trusting as most families are? What do you do then? And I've found that making surrogate family members is really helpful for me. Like, after a certain amount of time, you just call someone your brother. You just endlessly, because they're always there for you. Doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter what you think or how you do or what you're like. They're always there for you. You know, you need someone to cry to, they're there. You need someone to, you know, vent at, they're there. You need someone to rush you to somewhere and just, you know, support you, even though they're completely against what you're doing. They're there. That's what family is there for, and that's why I feel like it's so important to, you know, adopt people as family members. Obviously not immediately after you leave your family, because that might be unhealthy, but you know, slowly over time as that relationship builds. And I might do a different video on that. Yeah, I think that would be a good choice to do a different video about that. But that is my answer to your question, and I'm gonna make this a series on my channel where people can either DM me or tweet at me with the hashtag AskFaye, and I will, you know, answer your pressing questions where you're in a situation and you just need an answer. And for the user, I don't know if you're going to see this, I'll probably DM this to you. Please tell me if this was helpful, because I feel like I needed to make a big video on this because I couldn't make like a little section in a video about this. This is such a massive topic for so many people, and I needed to make a separate, like, dedicated video to it. But that is the end of the video. You can click off now if you want to. I'm just going to talk about my day, because if I don't, I'm going to go crazy. So I'm still in my pajamas. My hair is still blonde as hell. I'm not wearing any makeup. It's been a crazy week. Work is over at my school, so I'm doing a lot of ad hoc work, and it is painstakingly boring. It's painstakingly boring, but it's money, and that's what I need. And I went to a different city last week, which was amazing and wonderful. I saw my university campus for the first time because I do online studies, and that was amazing and wonderful. And I met a lot of people, got a lot of hacks for the next couple of years. I celebrated our anniversary, which was wonderful. We went to the fucking aquarium. It was amazing because I love animals. We saw some jellyfish, we saw some sharks. It was great. And I feel like I've talked about my anniversary. I don't know if I should keep talking about my anniversary. But I've had just a really busy weekend this week, so I'm just taking it easy now. I didn't upload yesterday because I just wanted to take it easy, and I could not be asked to do anything yesterday. So I'm uploading this today. So sorry for those of you who were waiting for a video yesterday. My apologies. I was dying. Like literally, I could not fucking walk. Like my legs were in so much pain. I went to Central London to meet Zara for brunch, and we had brunch. And it was great. So yeah, and I think that's it. That's my day. See, this would have taken up like a whole 5-minute segment at the beginning of the video. I think it's so much better to put it at the end, so you guys don't have to watch that part. It's not the important part of the video. But anyways, thank you for watching, and if you like my content, if you like my videos, if you like my thing, like what I do, please do consider subscribing. Please share this video if you enjoyed it. Please like it if you liked it, and dislike it if you disliked it, and please let me know why in the comments. If you have anything to add, or if you have, if you just want somebody to talk to, my DMs are open on Twitter. If you have an ask me, please DM me on Twitter or tweet at me at #Faye. So I probably won't make a video on every single ask. I will definitely respond to you through Twitter. I will definitely respond to you, but I probably will not create a video for every single thing unless it's like, I feel like I could make a whole video out of it. I'm not just going to make a 2-minute, oh yeah, you should totally do that, and then end the video. That doesn't make any sense. But I will definitely respond to you, in a timely manner. I'm not going to be able to deal with 100 messages at once, but I will get to you, promise. And, I'm really aiming to get double my subscriber number by the end of the year, because that is my target from YouTube. So if you guys could do that, that'd be great. I mean, it's not a particular it's not a need of mine. You don't have to subscribe, but it would be nice. I guess. But thank you again for watching. You do not have to subscribe. I don't even know why I said that. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting me in any way that you can. And also, if you hated this fucking video, let me know. I would love to improve on some things. People are still critiquing my older videos, telling me, why the fuck are you talking so fast? It's because I used to speed up my videos. I'm sorry. I feel like I talk really slow, so I thought if I speed it up, then the message will get there quicker. But thank you for watching, and I hope the user who sent me this question, I hope this answered your questions. But yeah, look out in the future for my ex-Muslims life hacks videos. I might make them a series. I don't know. I feel like it'd be really long to address every single hack in one video. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But thank you, and goodbye.